Our friend Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio, the king of college football talk, is also a big-time college baseball fan, as we've been talking with him about the SEC tournament and the regionals last week. And, boy, you got some fun regionals going on in the state of Tennessee, where you live this weekend, Bob. I really love the Tennessee-LSU matchup. That one feels like it actually could be one of the most entertaining matchups, not just because of anything going on the field, but I remember Paul Maneri didn't have some really good things to say about the Tennessee fans after they left Knoxville, taking 3 losses in a row. Those Tigers are playing good baseball now.
Yeah, and even though it's LSU, I would say even playing with nothing to lose. And that's very dangerous. That series a few weeks back got very chippy, and it was a lot of chirping from the stands at the LSU players, and you guys know Tony Vitello as well, if not better than anybody else. He's a go-getter, man. He's a fiery guy, and this should be very, very interesting.
It really should. I loved the shots, and SmackDown and I were talking about this yesterday because, you know, everybody in Arkansas still is feeling a little raw from the argument that Vitello and Coach Van Horn had. I think they've put that aside right now. I think for the two of them, it's water under the bridge because I saw them talking friendly before the SEC tournament championship game, and they're always going to be battling against each other. But I don't really harbor a lot of negative feelings for Tennessee because they've got Luke Bonfield, they've got Elander, a couple of coaches that were here. I still like Tony. I loved seeing the video of Tony sprinting into the huddle of his team after they won the regional and then going into the stands to high-five all the fans. And those fans right now I know have to be nervous. They got to be feeling nervous because, well, A&M just hired Schlossnagle from TCU, so they're not going to get Vitello. Maybe LSU's going to get O'Sullivan, but it feels right now like Tennessee's like trying to really do their best foot forward and keep Tony Vitello in Knoxville.
Haven't seen the fan base that energized since Bruce Pearl. It's been a while, and he did that. And obviously that did not end well. But, and guys, I don't remember all the conversations, do so many shows, but that conversation at the end of the Arkansas-Tennessee series was about a JUCO player in Missouri who's from Arkansas who apparently every time he hits the baseball, he hits it to Jupiter. And he's committed to Tennessee, and Arkansas is still recruiting him. Apparently that's how dumb that conversation was. Had nothing to do with the game.
Yep, nothing at all. Nothing. And again, I just think it was a heat of the moment thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Fans are not going to forget those things either. They also sometimes don't forget when the state of Arkansas is referred to as Arkansas, Bill. I saw a tweet that you put out that referred to that. You were watching the Arkansas-Nebraska baseball game. Do you usually refer to Arkansas as Arkansas?
I don't recall. I think somebody hacked my account. I don't think that was me. You know, there's a lot of Bill Kings out there. You never know.
Yeah, that's fine. So what do you think about the Vandy ECU one? Because I still think Vanderbilt is a College World Series team and a national championship contending club. And I know maybe they haven't been quite as good as they were early in the season. I still think that's a really good baseball team with 2 pitchers that I'm just not sure if ECU will be able to handle.
I don't know much about ECU. I know their coach is another former Vandy assistant under Tim Corbin 10 years ago or so, and has done a very good job. Yeah, you would think Vanderbilt's going to get out of there, and to get. It'd be really interesting if Tennessee and Vanderbilt both ended up. I can promise you, I haven't looked in the history books, and I don't need to. That's never happened.
Bill King joining us here on Halftime. Bill, early this week we were kind of tossing around the idea of like, would Nick Saban possibly get the retirement celebration that Mike Krzyzewski's getting? And not even while we were having that conversation, the news broke of Nick Saban getting a contract extension with Alabama through 2028, I believe it was. I don't have the article pulled up right in front of me at the moment, but do you even see Nick Saban finishing out that contract? 74 years old right now. I mean, do you see him finishing out that contract leading up to 2029?
Wouldn't surprise me. Now, you know, things can change. I believe he's 70. You guys can look this up, and he's a young 70. And you got to remember, he doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't want to go play golf. He doesn't want to sit in a hammock somewhere. He's doing his hobby. Grinding out every day is his hobby. And I don't think he's going to be quick to want to stop doing that. Now, could something happen to a family member or maybe unexpected health issue? Sure. And if he starts feeling like maybe he's becoming ineffective because of age, meaning that the players aren't wanting to be recruited like they used to, something like that could change it. But guys, I would not put it past him. He's not looking to go and sit around all day.
He's 69 years old, and I misspoke. And I believe the age I was referring to was more of like how old he would be prior to that. But right. 69 years old right now to that. Kind of bringing back Krzyzewski into this mix more with Saban on the side of it. Do you think Nick Saban, call him what it is, but he's probably more of an old school coach. I mean, he's been there, done that for years and years with college basketball or college football. Do you think he's ready to adjust with this name, image, and likeness that's coming into play, the transfer portal that's really picking up steam? Obviously, it is in basketball and the same thing in football. Is Nick Saban the kind of guy in your mind that can adapt and adjust with how quickly college athletics is changing before our eyes?
I would anticipate he's ahead of everybody in preparation for all of these changes. And I would also dare to tell you that in his mind, this just makes him more dominant. That's the way he looks at it. Transfer portal now, every year, he's going to be able to go poach a player at one position where maybe he's not quite satisfied. And it's going to be a really good player, too. Yeah. Like Henry To'o. They were missing one linebacker, basically, on that level. And he's going to be able to do that every year. So I think he's looking at it like, you just put more championships in my pocket.
Bill, I heard this was somebody filling in for Feinbaum, and he's out of Nashville, so it's somebody you probably know, and I can't remember who it was. But he's talking about that the stuff is going to eventually be, and this might have been used in the fall of the SEC, this is going to be the thing that gets the Pac over the SEC in terms of getting better athletes and everything. And I think he's overthinking things and trying to simplify things too much about big cities out west and all, and marketing and Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. If I'm a student athlete and I want to make money off my name, image, and likeness, I want to be in a program that has rabid fans. And to be quite honest, UCLA and USC ain't the same as the SEC. So I think I don't think the name, image, and likeness is going to hurt the SEC at all. I think it may actually raise it up.
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt them either. There's so much passion, and every school's got big name sugar daddies and medium level sugar daddies. All of them do. But guys, Vanderbilt's got enough money to buy the world if they wanted to. That's Vanderbilt, right? Which you don't think of Vanderbilt in that way. I think it's a big advantage. I think so for the Big Ten, too. Some of those big Ohio State's so strong, and Michigan, schools like that are going to, you would think, take big-time advantage of this.
Bill, one more thing before I throw it back over to Phil. The news started to break a couple days ago and really started picking up steam now with the potential of a 12-team playoff, college football playoff, leading the way as this thing is starting to progress. I know we've talked several times just about playoff expansion. You're not necessarily in favor of it. So apparently with this leading the way, is this the answer to everybody's whining and complaining that it's the same 4 teams every year?
I mean, it might pacify that crowd. It's not going to pacify me. The big thing about the 12 is 8's not attractive, at least the theory is, to the SEC, because you're losing at-large bids. Right now, all bids are at-large. And if you go to this model they're discussing, which is 6 guaranteed, automatic bursts, and then 6 at-larges, that leaves a bunch of them, which means probably 3 more SEC teams get in every year outside of Alabama. That's what's so attractive about this. I think, guys, I hate the idea. I hate the model idea that we have to copy pro sports. I resent it with every fiber of my being. But I've also been saying since before the 2014 season, it's coming. And it may be coming bigger than we think. I never thought the next number was 12, but it sounds like, at least in the moment, that number is popular.
Last thing here, Bill, and then I'll let you go. You are the king of college football talk, and you do a lot of football throughout the year on your show, and I trust everything you say about this sport. So in the next segment, I'm doing a whole thing about I don't think that I sit around wanting it to be baseball season all the time when it's not baseball season. Do you right now, as it is early June, and you still have summer, grilling season, and everything else that goes along with that, baseball season as well, do you spend a lot of time in the college football off season just wishing it was football season?
Never.
Thank you.
I have the playing portion. I've got 2 seasons, and there is no off season. I've got a playing portion and a non-playing portion, and they're all filled with content. And I like the rhythm of the calendar. That's why when they just announced the USFL is going to come back, or some other pro league, I can't watch that stuff. Football is not a void, even though I talk about it every day. Games on the field is not a void in my life in the late winter and spring. I'm good.
Well, that's exactly how I feel, too, and I'm glad that the king of college football talk agrees with me on that. Bill, enjoy the Supers this weekend, and I think we'll be previewing Arkansas and Vandy in the College World today. May play each other, may do it again.
Thanks Bill.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Bill's show is worth listening to as well, 6 to 9 Nashville Sports Radio. Hey, the Fence Man, that's worth talking to the Fence Man.
Absolutely.
It's a company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. They build custom gates. They build wrought iron fences, custom wrought iron installation, automatic gates, controlled access systems, cameras, security installations, lots more. And it's also quick, easy, and most importantly, affordable. 18-month, same as cash financing, now available at the Fence Man. 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. Wrapping up the show with Change My Mind right after this.